Alright, so the ticket price problem, right? What did it ask? The rule was very simple that you cannot buy, that is your maximum amount of tickets that you can accumulate is 25, and each ticket, like one ticket, is equal to $20, right? And what's the next one? Um, if count of tickets, basically count of tickets is greater than 20, then you're getting a discount of 20%. Okay, 20%. If I'm sorry, not yeah, it's if it's greater than 20, then you get 20% or equal to 20, greater than or equal to 20. Else if, let's just use the ditto symbol here, and if it is equal to greater than or equal to 10, then we are assigning it as a 10%. So we've got 10%, we've got 20%, right? So this was the whole equation here. So mathematically, how would you do it? Let's try to take a look at it in terms of mathematics. Now you have all started the basic algebra and basic arithmetic over here, and it's quite a lot simple, right? Quite a lot simple. So let's say maximum ticket is 25, maximum number of tickets is 25. Let's omit that for now. Okay, imagine that a person buys X amount of tickets. Okay, so the total amount would be X times 20. So that will be 20X mathematically. I'm just explaining the mathematics behind that. Then I will go for pseudocode. Okay, now imagine that instead of X, now we are filling it with a value. Let's give it a value. Let's say 12. If there are 12 tickets bought. Okay, so then that would be 20 times 12, which is equal to 20 times 10 is 200, and 240 basically. Yeah, 10 plus, yeah, 240. That's 240. And what's that? That's a dollar, right? That's $240. Okay, now what do we do here is that we are going to be issued a 10% discount as long as it's greater than or equal to 10. Okay, and also it has to be less than 20, obviously. More than 20 would be a different calculation. You don't need to check that actually, because if something is greater than 20, then automatically they would get a 20% discount. So if it is greater than or equal to 10, then it basically shifts itself over there. We will see it in the algorithm, okay, whenever we design that algorithm. Okay, so the number of tickets was actually greater than 10 and less than 20, so it's fine. Now we are going to be issuing a 10% discount. Now, how do we calculate the discount? 240 minus 240 times 10%. Okay, basically we are only charging 90% of 240. That's what we do, right? If you subtract 10%, then whatever you're left with is generally you're paying the 90% of that. Okay, so simply we're going to do that. We're going to take that if it is greater than 10, less than 20, then we take the 90%, and if you're getting it more than 20 tickets, then obviously you're going to get a 80%. You're going to pay 80% of it. That's it, simply. So now let us go on with the pseudocode. Let's write start. Okay, now what do we do now? We are going to take the number of tickets. So we are simply going to write here input, enter number of tickets. I'm just writing here to accommodate. Okay, then we can write n, because in mathematics you are writing it as n, so let me write it over here. That's better. Okay, so number of tickets, and let's say we are writing it as n. Okay, fine. So we are taking input of the number of tickets, which is n, right? All right. Now what do we do next? We're going to check if n is greater than 25, because if somebody wants to buy 30 tickets, he or she is instantly rejected. That's sorry, I'm not gonna, you're not allowed to buy more than 25 tickets. So we're gonna check, we're gonna run a small check here. That is if um, this value, whatever the value is, n is greater than 25. Remember, greater than 25, not equal to, because 25 is the maximum value. Be careful of these wordings. If it says that maximum value is 25, then you should allow 25 tickets at max. 26, that's you start your rejection from number 26. Okay, so yeah, that's how it goes. So if n is greater than 25, then what do? We are going to say that output, we're just going to say output, sorry, that's it, right? We're not going to accept it, and simply we just write end if. Okay, then next up, what do we have? We're going to check that if the amount of ticket is greater than or equal to 10. So if amount of ticket, which is n, is greater than or equal to 10. Now there are multiple ways of doing it. Okay, multiple ways of doing it. If you want to use an else if, you can actually write a condition over here that and it also has to be less than or equal to, or less than 20. If n is greater than 10 and less than 20, then you run a separate logic, and the logic would be something like this, that price, okay, price is less than, our price would be, or we can simply not write price, we can write discount. Okay, we simply write discount. Discount is 0.1. Okay, now we can write else if. Let's go for else if. Else if it is greater than 20. Else if n is greater than 20, then issue discount, let's write disc, to be equal to 20%, that is 0.2. Now in your book or in the slide, it's given 0.1 and 0.2. All of you are very good in mathematics, so you all figured it out, I guess, that 10% is generally equal to 0.1. Everybody knows it how. Okay, if you don't, in case you forgot, it is 1 divided by 100. This is 0.1. Okay, this is how we get it. And remember, calculators won't be allowed, so don't be hopeful that you will do everything using a calculator. Calculator will not be allowed in any of these exams. Okay, this is true for both grade 6 and grade 7. I mean grade 7 and grade 8, both of you. Calculators will not be allowed. Okay, so discount is equal to 0.2 and discount is equal to 0.1. That's it, fine. Okay, so now what do we do is we were going to take that if it is not true, only then we enter here, right? We checked it at first go that n is greater than or equal to 25. Okay, now here's the problem. After we run this logic, see, if n is greater than equal to if n is greater than 25, then the program stops. So we need to make sure that the program actually keeps running. That is, we should give them another chance that, okay, do you need or are you okay with a smaller amount of ticket? Then yes. Then we can actually write something over here, that is, I'll just erase this part for now. Okay, let's say start and all is actually written over here. Okay, start and everything, it's already written. Just we need to add a small loop over here, that is repeat. Okay, repeat taking this until n is less than or equal to 25. That's it. If this is less than or equal to 25, if n is less than or equal to 25, then you come over here. Otherwise, you keep asking that sorry, try again, sorry, try again. So the user will keep asking for that, okay? And obviously, we will take the input inside. This time, we're going to take the input over here. That input, enter ticket, or enter number, whatever you want to write, just we are writing it with 10. That's it, okay? So now we are putting this whole input thing inside the loop. So that's the whole purpose of using the loop, okay? Now next part would be, this one's very, very simple and very easy, okay? All right. So since we're done with 0.1 and 0.2, we're done with all the calculations, right? So we are only coming over here when it is